friends, welcome back. So today I'm going to walk you through this tutorial how I made this trending teddy bear baby shower cake. Now if you rather see a time lapse versus this tutorial, then please, like my other videos, click on the tag above and that'll take you straight to the time lapse. But if you want to see the whole process, then you're in the right spot. So let's jump right into it. So this is a fairly simple cake. The only thing that I do have to make ahead of time, as you can see, my cake dummy is ready, so I know approximately what size the end result will be. I will be using my homemade Rice Krispie to make that teddy bear's big old head and his body. I will be frosting this and covering it with fondant. Now you could make the whole teddy bear out of modeling chocolate, or fondant or gum paste, but this is just my preference. So let me mold this into its shape. And I do want to make sure that the bottom of the head is completely flat, since that'll be resting on its body. So this is approximately the body and the head. Yeah, that's way off. Let's take some off of the head. I mean, he's got a big head, but I don't want him to be that big. Now the arms and the legs, they don't have to be made out of Rice Krispies. I'll just be making that purely out of fondant. Okay, I think that makes a little bit more sense. Let me just flatten the top of the body a little bit more so that our head isn't kind of lopsided. If you squint a little, you can see it, right? No? I can see it. Oh. I'm rounding off the head a little bit more. It was a little too wide for what I want. Okay, so I think that's as close as I'm going to get, and any weird empty spots I'll fill in with frosting. And I think that'll be a good size for, for a cake. All right, so I'm going to frost these individually and cover them individually. You know what, I should poke a Kabob Stick through right now. I should have done this actually before I started frosting. You live and you learn. With my body and my head frosted, I am going to pop these in the fridge, and once that's already set in place, then I'll add in another layer to make it smooth out. So for my fondant, this is gonna be the 4 colors that I'll be using. I'll be using black for the beady eyes. I'll be using this light white or off-white for the mouth, a chocolate brown for the nose and inside the ears. And finally for the main body, I have kind of like this brownish beige color. So let's start rolling this part out so we can roll it onto our round Rice Krispie treats. Remember, we still need to leave some leftover of this colored fondant for our legs and arms, so don't go crazy and use up all of this fondant for just the body and the head. Okay, so I have my body and head fully frosted. Just remember to leave some fondant on this side. This color is the same color that we need for the arms and legs. So once that's done, just flip it over and tuck in the extra underneath your ball. I wish I would have labeled these because I forgot which one's my head and which one's my body. I think this is my body because the bottom is a little bit more, it's less round. So we can stack this like this. Actually, let me go ahead and add the toothpick once and for all. The shish kebab, or kabob stick. I don't know what you guys call them. These skewers, grilling skewers. And it just needed to be the length of the bear. Please remember to let your customers and clients know if there are any sticks or toothpicks anywhere within your cakes. Okay, so there's our little bear. And sometimes I do like to use sandwich bags underneath them so I could just pick them up and move them around super easy. So let's go ahead and start building on, I don't know, we could probably do the ears next. So for the ears, I can use one of these piping tips. I have a Wilton 2A, and I'll just use this circle. I think that's a good size. Okay, so these are my ears, and let's just cut off a little bit off the end. Like that much. So that's what that looks like. Same thing for the other ear. Let me just let these dry on the side, but let's do the middle part, which is that darker brown. So for that, I could just roll out some circles. And you can glue on the center of the ear. There goes ear number 1. Next, let's do the snout. Again, this full-size Wilton tip, I think, is big enough for the snout. So for that, we want to use the lighter off-white fondant that we had made. And we can kind of shape this to be a little bit more oval, and let's glue that on our bear. And if you have any leftovers, you can use it to either make it a belly and like a different colored belly, or you can use it for the ends of his arms and legs. Up to you. Now let's add our nose to our little snout. So I rolled out a circle and kind of just forced a triangle in between my fingers. Press that in like so. And then let's do the shape of his mouth. I'm using a sculpting tool, but whatever you have handy, an X-Acto knife can help too. Or you can also use the end of this icing tip. That way you take care of both sides symmetrically at the same time. I wish I would have thought of that earlier. Now for his little beady eyes, just a circle, or should I say a ball? And I'm gonna rest that right above his snout. 1 and 2. There we go. Hello, he's starting to come together. Okay, let's move on to his legs and arms. So 4 equal parts. And for the leggies, just start rolling it out like so. And it's always thinnest at the joint, if that's what you want to call it. And I'm going to flatten the bottom. Okay, let's see if this is a good size. So make sure it's widest at the bottom and narrow at the top where the joint is. There we go. It's looking all cute. Again, placing it on a plastic sandwich bag or saran wrap, whatever you have handy, so you can move it around is the easiest. All right, let's do the arms next. That looks good. I like that. I'm happy with that length and that shape. Let's do the other side. Roll, roll, roll. So we're not flattening the bottom this time for the arms, but we're still making sure the bottom is thicker than the top. And I'm pushing it in. There we go. Oh, I think he's so cute and so chubby. I don't know, I think he does need a belly. There we go. Oh, he's a chunky bears. Okay, so lastly will be the ears. Oh, isn't he so cute? Isn't he so precious? Or is it a she? I think it's a mama bear. She is so precious. She could be a mama bear. Look at that belly. Hee hee hee. For my ears, I'm just going to use some water to glue it down. If the ears were a little bit bigger, then I might consider using toothpicks instead, but it's a good size. But fondant tends to melt with water, so it acts as a glue. But there we go, there's our teddy bear, and we'll let that harden. Next, I'll be leveling off my cakes. I have 4 8-inch round cakes that I'll be placing on top of this 14-inch drum. So I'll be once more leveling them and then filling them with strawberries and cream, piping the outside of the cake to make sure that that filling doesn't spill out once we stack them all on top. So I may go with 4 stacked or I may go with 3 depending on what height I like the best. And finally, I'll be frosting it off. Now I don't want this cake to be perfectly centered in the middle because our teddy bear is really fat. So we need to leave some room for him to be able to rest on this cake board. All right, lastly, I've decided to add the 4th layer after all. Plus, it's like the size of a pancake, so. Ta-da! And now, I'll be running a boba straw through the middle to make sure it doesn't try to wiggle anywhere. And just provide some support, and then we'll get to frosting. I have my straw. Whoops. So I ended up mixing little by little these 2 colors to get that sage green. It's just a regular green and then this black diamond that I got from ABC Cakes. I can put the link below if you'd like, but once more, I recommend that you do add these colors little by little to your frosting just so you don't go overboard with the black or go too concentrated to where it doesn't look like that pastel sage green color. Okay, so now comes the fun part. where we will paint on our gold paint. And again, my favorite is Truly Matte Plastics Gold Edible Powder. You just add some vodka to that powder to create your paint. Look how pretty that shine is. It's so avant-garde. Okay, so next let's add, let's do, I guess we could do teddy bear. So this is cheddar. And we can add teddy on the side. Again, this is the whole reason why I got the 14-inch drum was because he's so fat. I will officially add him later, but you get the idea. I think he might sit there. Yep, right about there. So let's go ahead and add our flowers next. So for my flowers, I'll be adding some white roses, or off-white roses, and also some baby's breath, little white flowers, and what else? I'll be adding some green foliage. So with flowers, honestly, it's not that big of a fuss. You can just cut them, insert them inside the cake. Just make sure that they are not toxic. Roses aren't toxic, so I'll be adding those on. I have seen some cake decorators add them into a tube of like water or cover them in foil, but this, from my experience, they hold their shape fairly well throughout the day. This way, just inserting them the way that I have, they don't wilt on the cake, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Should have done this before I started putting the roses on, but please make sure you spot check, and any kind of ugly leaves that you might see, take those off, or petals, I should say. I also have some smaller rosettes. I wish we had smell-o-vision right now so you could smell these pretty, pretty flowers. I think the hardest part of adding your flowers is just knowing when it's too much or when to stop, because I can keep going and going to the point where I'll create a forest and I'm like, okay, I think that's enough. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit more in the back. You gotta think about all angles of your cake. I didn't even think of that. How fitting. Baby breath, flowers on a baby shower cake. Okay, so I think that looks good. Now we gotta find a place to put our cake topper, so let me bring you back to the front. Okay, so this is my cake topper. Ooh, baby. So this concludes today's Teddy Bear Sage Frosted Floral Baby Shower Cake. Thank you once more for sticking through with me till the very end. And again, if you like this video, then please, please, please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys till the next one. Bye.